Hello, everyone. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. I'm back with another film review, and tonight this one is from 2005, and I've been meaning to get around to this one mainly just because of Jenna Dewan, who used to be married to Channing Tatum, but now they're pretty much divorced. We don't have to worry about that, so now we can go back to enjoying her the way she is. And the movie we're talking about is Tamara. This is, like I said, it's a film from 2005, and it's written by Jeffrey Reddick, who also helped, create the Final Destination franchise. And yeah, overall, not a bad little film, but I would say if there's anything wrong with this movie, it's just that it's very kind of basic. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad movie overall, but it's just it really doesn't feel like anything new or anything different. So, but anyway, we'll get into that. But yeah, the movie starts off. We, begin the film. We find out that there's this girl in high school named Tamara, and she's played by Jenna Dewan here. And basically, it's a lot like Carrie. I mean, if you've seen the movie Carrie, it's very, very similar to that in that, she's Tamara is this kind of very frumpy girl. She's kind of, dressed like, she comes from a family that's, kind of a poor background. Her mother, is gone. Her dad, he's basically a drunk, and, his dad's kind of a creep. Her dad is kind of a creep because he's always like leering at her all the time and making suggestive remarks to her and things like that. And, she's not very well thought of in school. A lot of the kids don't like her, especially the guys on the football team, because she had written an article for the school paper saying that like the players are using enhancement drugs, performance enhancement drugs, and so now they're pissed off because they got to um, submit to drug tests, which they don't want to do, and it's all because of her that now they got to do this. So now they want to get even with Tamara. And we learn from the very beginning of the movie that, well, Tamara, okay, here's the thing. Okay, she does have this Carrie kind of ability to her, but um, telekinesis or psychic powers or anything. We learn at the beginning of the movie that Tamara is very much studying witchcraft, and that there's basically calling back to that her mother had studied witchcraft, and basically she's kind of following in her mother's footsteps, and she thinks that she'll get you know the attention and the success and everything she's going to want through witchcraft. And the one thing she really, really wants is she wants to be in a love affair with her English teacher, played by Matthew Marsden, or is it James Marsden? Sorry, just real quick. Um, no, Matthew Marsden. I'm sorry, I got the name wrong. That was my fault. But anyway, so she wants to be in a romantic relationship with him, but he's not seeing it that way. But the guy's not mean to her or anything like that. He's saying that hey, you're a great girl and you got lots of potential. You're going to go on. I think you're going to go on to do really well in the world, and I think you could do really great and go do great things and everything else. And but the thing is he's married, and we find out that he and his wife, they do have this one problem, and the fact that they want to have a child, but they're having trouble conceiving. And but when he's telling Tamara all this, you're going to do really well, she makes a pass at him, and he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that to take advantage of you or anything like that. So Tamara's freaked out. Well, come to find out, like the girl, well, the girlfriend of one of the jocks, she sees Tamara kiss the guy and everything, and she goes and tells him that hey, we got a deal here. It turns out she's got a case of hot pants for the teacher and everything else, and the two of the jock guys, they decide that they're going to play a joke on Tamara. Well, they at first they're bullying her in the locker room and trying to scare the hell out of her and stuff like that. And they're letting her know, like, you're gonna regret this, and you're gonna you'll rule the day that you ever crossed us and everything else, and we're going to get even with you for this. So they decide that that they're going to go ahead and they're going to play this joke on Tamara. But in order to do this, they go and they get this one guy from the AV department, and they're trying to buddy up with him, even though he's all like, "Yeah, why are you talking to me?" It's like, "You guys have never talked to me before. You've never had anything to do with me. Why are you having anything to do with me now?" And all this other kind of stuff. And he's all like, "Well, yeah, we need to, well, here's the thing, yeah, we want you to come to a party, but we also want you to help us play a little prank on Tamara and stuff like that." But the guy being kind of an AV geek and stuff, he's pretty much willing to go into it because he just wants to, hang out with the cool kids. Then we find another guy and another girl, and they're, the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of new here. I'm just kind of seeing, hey, where's the parties? What's the haps? All that kind of stuff." And so they tell him, well, actually, come on over. We're having a party tonight, and we're gonna play this, have a little fun with this girl Tamara and stuff like that. So what they're doing in the meanwhile too is they're sending Tamara these love letters. They're supposed to be from the teacher and everything else, and so telling her to go to this motel and to get into bed, and that he'll be there, that he decides he wants to be with her and he wants to make love with her, and if she goes there, he'll meet her there, and they'll be together. So anyway, so that very night, Tamara, she decides that well, she's casting a spell, to get the teacher to fall in love with her and be devoted to her and things like that, and she's wanting it to work out and stuff like that. So anyway, so she decides she's going to go ahead and go to this motel, and she's going to be with him. So she goes to the motel and she's in this room. Well, it turns out in the room right next to her, the other kids, they're in there, and they got the room rigged for video and audio so that they can have fun with her. And the one guy, he's in the he's in the bathrooms, got the shower going and stuff, and he's is telling Tamara, go ahead and get into bed. So she takes her clothes off, and she's in her underwear, and she slips into bed, and she looks beautiful and gorgeous, and ready for passion and all this kind of great stuff. Well, then the guy busts into the room, and he's of course she's horrified that it's him, and so she's trying to bundle up, and he's all like, ha ha ha, he's videotaping her and stuff like that. He's like, ha ha ha, you pig, you're disgusting, you're actually, you're more of a loser than I thought. You actually think he would ever have anything to do with you, and you're such a pathetic, idiot, and blah 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 blah, all this other kind of stuff. Well, in the next room, the two kind of, the outsider kind of boy and girl, they're like, hey, wait a minute, where is she? And especially the girl, she's like, where is she? What are you guys doing to her and everything else? Where, tell me where she is and all this stuff. And they're like, well, she's in the next room and all this. So Tamara, she's trying to get dressed, and she's scurrying out into the parking lot, and she slips and falls and everything else. And so the door opens, and she's all like, and the girl saying, Tamara, and all this. And Tamara thinks that, well, she knows that she's been made a fool of, but she thinks that this girl is in on it too, which actually turns out, no, that's not the case. That they thought it was going to be a party, and all this, and they thought, okay, it's going to be a little bit fun, but they realized like it's going too far. And so she's like, yeah, we never signed up for this. We never signed up for anything like this to happen to Tamara. But Tamara takes it that she's in on it, and she's and she's like, I trusted you, and so she runs in and starts attacking her. And so everybody's like trying to pull Tamara off, and Tamara at this point is, I mean, she's basically just like a wild animal. I mean, you can't stop her no matter what. So she's screaming and she's yelling and everything else, and they're getting pissed, and she's biting them and all this other kind of stuff. And the girl's like, no, don't hurt her, Tamara, calm down, listen to me, and all this other kind of stuff. And Tamara's not listening. She's just being ferocious and fighting back. And finally, the one jock, he's enough of this shit, and they're like, shut her up. And so she bites his arm, and he pretty much throws her, and she falls and bashes her head on a table, and she's dead. Okay, so now we're kind of going. Okay, we went a little bit from the craft. Now we're kind of going into I know what you did last summer territory, because now they decide that, well, she's dead. It was an accident. They really didn't mean to kill her, but hey, they're not throwing their lives away, and they're gonna go to college and go on and be super successful and stuff like that. And they're not gonna let Tamara ruin it, whatever they got going on. So they decide basically they're gonna bury her out in the woods, and pretty much that's gonna about do it, and they're gonna go on with their lives. So they take her out there, and they bury her in this shallow grave and stuff, and so they just of course they do. You gotta have that scene where everybody's swearing to secrecy that they're gonna take it to their graves. Nobody's gonna rat, nobody's gonna say anything, and even though the one girl, she kind of hesitates, but eventually everybody does kind of decide that they're not gonna tell, and they're gonna keep the little secret and all this other kind of stuff. So they all decide to leave it at that, and then they go on, with their lives until the next day at school, and then lo and behold, the very next day, Tamara shows up, and this is an actual picture of her from the movie. And as you can see, I mean, she's very, very gorgeous, very easy on the eyes, looking amazing, looking super stunning. And pretty much everybody, their jaws are dropping and all this, and nobody can understand, what happened or how she's still alive or any of that kind of stuff. So of course, everybody is all baffled. The kids that were involved, they're all baffled. The teacher, he's baffled too, but for different reasons. He knew nothing of the entire situation of what went on, but Tamara, now that she's looking just super delicious and everything, she's going to go ahead and she's going to start trying to really put the make on the teacher and tell her she wants him to be with her, and she's going to try to win him over and everything else. And even though he's very much like trying to politely just let her know, look, Tamara, I'm sorry, you and me, it's never going to happen. I'm with my wife, I love her, and this and that and everything else. And she's all like, she's like, oh yeah, well, I'll make you love me and this and that. So meanwhile, the kids, they're all talking, well, wait a minute, what happened? I guess maybe she didn't die, whatever, this and that. And all, it's like, well, whatever, it's like, we're not going to do shit until she does something, then we'll defend ourselves. But, first off, it starts with the AV geek, and she makes him, on a video in front of the whole school, makes him pretty much cut out his tongue and stuff. And pretty much, it turns into your basic kind of revenge movie from there on out. And she's going in, she's, one by one, she's getting the the one girlfriend of the jock, find out she's, has like eating disorders. So she's making her like eat all this stuff and everything else. And she's able to control people, and she's using her witchcraft powers to get them to kind of do what she wants. And ultimately what she wants is she wants to get revenge on the kids that did wrong to her, and she's taking them out one by one. And at the same time, her whole thing is she wants to be with this teacher, and she wants to take out anybody that gets in the way, especially his wife. And that's the thing, like I said, they're trying to conceive a child, and at one point they think that they're going to. And then we find out, that the wife finds out from the doctor that no, she's not going to have a baby. And she's worried that he's going to leave her, and he's telling her, no, I still love you, and we're going to stay together. We'll get through this. And, I mean, the guy's overall, he's a really good guy. And, he's like, I have no intentions of leaving you. I love you. You're my wife, and all this stuff. And she's all like, I know you want to have a child and stuff, and I feel bad I can't give you one. And he's like, don't worry about it. We'll get through this. But Tamara, she's, basically she's going to him, and she's all like, don't worry about it. Your wife is, she's old and she's over the hill, and she can't conceive a child for you. And I can give you all the children you want and everything else. And so she's, trying to find all these, she's trying to find all these excuses to get him to love her. But, he's just not interested in her that way. He wants to be with his wife. And then ultimately you come to this showdown of, Tamara's possessing some of the kids who, bullied her and killed her, and getting them to basically do her bidding, which means they go after the teacher's wife. And so there, there's a, you get to the third act, there's climax, chasing through the hospital and stuff, and they finally get out to the roof, and where they're on the roof now, and the picture here kind of shows it, and so they're trying to get Tamara to stop, and finally Tamara, she tells them that, she tells him, here's the deal, you want me to stop, then you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to go leave your wife and come be with me. That's the only way I'm gonna stop. And so, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. And he decides, well, there's no, he's all, she tells him, like, either you come and be with me and your wife lives, or if you stay with your wife, she's gonna die. That's your choice. And so he goes, and he's all like, okay, Tamara, it's like, it seems like I have no choice. I have to be with you. And so, she's like, I'm so glad, and everything else. And meanwhile, his wife, she's in tears, and no, no, please don't, and everything else. And he turns around, looks at his wife, and he's all like, he's all like, I love you. And then he just grabs Tamara, and the both of them jump off of the roof, and they both fall to their death. So, basically, he sacrifices himself to kill Tamara and to stop Tamara's evil, doings and all this. And, but basically, giving up his own life in the process. But, overall, it's a good movie. I think it's a fun, entertaining movie to watch. It's just, like I said, it's just not really anything new. This is kind of, if you're a fan of horror movies and you've seen, this movie is going to seem very, very familiar to you. The plot is going to seem very familiar. It's going to seem like there's a lot of, just a lot of elements you've seen from other movies. You're going to be watching this. Like I said, you're going to be reminded of The Craft. You're going to be reminded of Carrie. You're going to be reminded of I Know What You Did Last Summer. There is some good gore and stuff like that. It's like she has some of these characters pretty much dispose of themselves in pretty grisly, gruesome ways, especially her nasty, drunk, pervy dad. But Jenna Dewan, honestly, not only is she, stunningly beautiful, she's, she's amazingly gorgeous, no doubt there, but, but at the same time, though, too, I think she did a really good job. She gave a good performance. You don't really see her in much. I think the only other thing I saw her in was, I believe it was Asylum on American Horror Story. And, she just, I'm sorry. I'm kind of drawing a blank here. I'm sure she's done plenty other. I think she was in one of the Step Up movies or something like that. But anyway, just this and American Horror Story right off the bat are the two things I know her of. And but I think she's talented, and she's definitely got the looks and everything else. So maybe we'll see more of her. But and like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's actually entertaining if you're a horror fan. And like I said, it's got some good gore. It's got a couple of fun little twists and turns in it. Revenge has a killer body. Will make even horror buffs flinch. I don't know about that. I think most horror buffs would be like, I've seen worse. But no, I still think it's a good movie. I'd say give it a watch. Just like I say, just kind of don't be prepared for anything like too original or too unique or anything like that. Like I said, this movie feels very formulaic. You feel like you've really seen this stuff before, and so just not really anything new. But overall, though, yeah, it's not bad. I can actually, it's an entertaining 90 minutes, and I like the idea that it's kind of like you feel a little bit of like I said, a little bit of The Craft and Carrie and Evilspeak and stuff like that. So if you're into movies kind of like that, you'll be into this. And kind of the way she goes about getting, revenge on her tormentors, I think is pretty fun. It's got some inventive kill scenes and stuff in there, I have to admit. And like a couple of minutes, you think like you think she's going to kill somebody a certain way, but then it turns out no, she ends up doing something completely different with them. But yeah. So yeah, I think I've gone on about this movie long enough, but I actually say give it a watch. If you're a horror fan and you love looking at you don't mind a woman who, yeah, she's bad to the bone, but she's definitely very good on the eyes, and Jenna Dewan is definitely that. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, and I say give Tamara a watch. Why not? Go for it. I said there, she looks amazing. But honestly, too, I'm not just saying this because she's good looking. I honestly think she gave a good performance, and there are moments in the movie you genuinely do feel bad for her, and I think that was also interesting too, is that she's not all straight out bad. That I think it's kind of interesting that her character is, she's flawed, but she does have there is a sympathy that you can give to her. It's kind of like the reason she becomes this is through circumstances that kind of like everybody else puts her in, and you kind of wonder maybe it never would have come to this if everybody had just left her alone and not tormented and bully her and stuff. But anyway, like I said, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. I think I've talked long enough, and like I said, a good movie. Just don't expect anything really original or anything unique. It's kind of very cookie cutter, kind of um, you know, kind of run of the mill, but still a good movie. And so anyway, that's going to do it. So if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it, like I always do. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. I do weekly review videos, got all kinds of good stuff. Trying to come up with more ideas of hopefully more interesting videos to do, and so yeah, hopefully I can keep everybody entertained and have a good time, and that's going to do it. So signing off. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. I'm wishing you all a good night and take care. I'll see you later. Bye bye.